Namaskar. This video is about what Maoists want. For years, we have been listening that Maoists are working for the oppressed classes. They are working so that they can give them their rights. Unfortunately, that is not the case. From 1967, since the revolt at Naxalbari, various Maoist documents have been repeatedly mentioning that political power is their main aim. Let us take a look at certain Maoist documents which talk about their aims and their objectives and why they are fighting this war against India for more than 50 years now. Virasam, or Revolutionary Writers Association, is a Maoist front organization. It was declared as a Maoist front organization by UPA government on 18th February 2014 in Lok Sabha. Andhra Pradesh banned Virasam for its link with terrorist organization CPI Maoist. This Virasam, they published seminar papers on the 50th anniversary of Naxalbari revolt. Naxalbari revolt took place in the year 1967 and 2017 was the 50th anniversary year of that revolt. In the seminar papers published by Virasam in the year 2017, a person named Purnendu Mukherjee wrote an article. In that article, he says that Naxalbari was not merely a struggle to take over the land. Although in agrarian revolution the land question is of immense importance, but Comrade Lenin has taught us that if any struggle is limited to a movement for partial demands, it will be in reality economism, maximally a militant economism, however militant be its outward appearance. In the Naxalbari struggle, the question of seizure of state power came forward in a concrete form. Simultaneously, it made the strategy and tactics of the Indian Revolution clear. So this war Maoists have started against India in the year 1967, they call it revolution, and repeatedly they mention in their documents that seizure of state power is their ultimate aim and their revolution cannot be complete without this seizure of political power. However, they do not want to achieve this political power through electoral means. They do not accept the parliamentary process. They do not want to fight election. They want to achieve political power through the barrel of gun as taught by Comrade Mao. In the same seminar papers, there is mention of one Maoist magazine called Dakshin Desh. So in the year 1968, in volume 16th of this Dakshin Desh magazine, there is mention that the lesson of Naxalbari is the real application of the lessons of Mao. What are those lessons? To establish base areas in villages. Such revolutionary bases will one by one form a chain around the cities in such a way that the enemy, that means Indian government, will not have a path to escape. One interesting question is, the Maoists and the Maoist sympathizers all these years keep on claiming that the Maoists are fighting for the rights of oppressed. Why would anyone need to encircle cities and establish revolutionary bases to give rights of poor people or oppressed people? It is pretty clear from their writings that talking about giving back rights of oppressed people is just a whitewash. The Maoists are more interested in seizing political power, and that too through the barrel of gun. In the same seminar papers, there is an article by a person named Ravi. He says, the struggle for power is the principal aspect, but it cannot be separated from the struggle for economic and other partial struggles. To put it differently, they are two sides of the same coin. So when Maoists talk about giving lands back to the peasants, the objective is, through that process, they want to go closer to their main objective of seizing political power. There is a book named Revolutionary Violence versus Democracy. In that, various people like Elgar Parishad accused Anand Tel Tumde, Varara Rao, they wrote articles about revolutionary violence. Here the meaning of the word revolutionary means the Maoist violence. In that book, Varara Rao wrote an article. The title of the article is Jantana Sarkar, an alternate model of development. So what is this Jantana Sarkar? This is basically the liberated zone which Maoists established, which is also known as Red Corridor. So whatever so-called governance being practiced by the Maoists in that area, they are calling it Jantana Sarkar. In this particular article, Varvara Rao says that the Naxalbari struggle envisaged the economic struggle for land to the tiller, the guerrilla form of struggle to protect it, and the political program of seizing the state power. So even in Varvara Rao's article, it is pretty clear that seizing the political power was one of the objective of the Maoists since beginning. Now this is about some old examples. In various documents, in various writings of Charu Mazumdar, the need for seizing political power is highlighted repeatedly. In the year 2004, Maoists consolidated few factions of the Naxalite movement and they formed a new organization called CPI Maoist. The prominent organization which came together to form the CPI Maoist are CPI MLPW, that is People's War, which was started in 80s in Andhra, and MCCI, that is Maoist Communist Center of India, which used to operate in the northern parts of India. So MCCI and CPI MLPW, they came together and they formed CPI Maoist in the year 2004. They also drafted various strategy documents when they formed CPI Maoist. In those strategy documents, one important basic document is Strategy and Tactics of Indian Revolution. In that document, they talk about how they want to fight with the Indian government and how they want to seize power. In the document, the Maoists say that the central task of their revolution, so this war against India, as it is called as revolution by the Maoists, so the central task of the revolution is seizure of political power through protracted people's war. So here they are saying that they are ready to fight a protracted people's war, that means a lengthy war. So Maoists have been fighting for more than 50 years and they are ready to fight for further few years. It may not be 5 or 10 years, it may be a longer war. That's why they are calling it as protracted people's war. Then they say that to accomplish this central task of seizure of political power, the Indian people will have to wipe out the armed forces of the Indian state through war and establish in its place the people's democratic state. The very act of establishment of the state machinery of the people by destroying through war the state's army, police and the bureaucratic machinery is the central task of the People's Democratic Revolution of India. Now few points to take note of here. One is they are saying seizure of political power through protracted people's war, so it is a lengthy war. Second point, who will fight this war? So according to Maoists, the common people of India will fight this war. Now the question comes, why would a common man of India would even think of fighting a war against India? So to convince such a common man, Maoists say that whatever democracy, whatever system we have today is not the real democracy, and whatever system they are going to bring in, that is going to be the real democracy, and they are calling it the new democracy. Now, how this new democracy is going to be different from the current democracy, they do not have answers to these questions. Third point is, now if they want to bring in this so-called new democracy, what they want is, they want the common man to wipe out the armed forces, the police forces, the bureaucracy of India, and in its place they will bring that new democracy. Nobody knows what would be the model of that democracy. Nobody knows whether their so-called new democracy would be capable of binding together a huge and diverse country like India, which has all sorts of diversity, starting from language, food, religion, dressing style, all sorts of diversity. The question is, Maoists really do not know whether their model can actually sustain or can actually bind India together. However, whatever is there currently, they just want to wipe it out. So they want to bring in anarchy. That is what their basic aim is. So political power is what they are fighting for. That is the reason they have been killing thousands of innocent tribals from last almost more than 50 years.